I'm nervous. Yeah.
Welcome to another episode of the Cultivated Culture. I'm
Welcome.
Coach Austin. That's
What up,
Coach
bro?
Greg.
Fresh cut.
Tonight we have a special guest and a special cut from Coach Greg. He's looking fresh tonight for a special episode. It's the Kyle Coffield episode. He is a Steinbrenner football graduate. Um, he is like my second son. He
Yeah.
has got a beautiful wife
You have
and
two
two
sons.
kids and two, yeah, he's like my fourth son. Kyle, thanks for joining us on the show. I like the shirt, Mean Girls. You are certainly a mean girl in high school. Tell us what the inspiration of the shirt was tonight.
Well, I was gonna wear the kitty cat Christmas shirt, but it was a little bit tighter than this one, so I just switched it out.
Listen, I suggested off air before we got started that you should have gone shirtless. I mean,
Yeah,
you got fantastic body
I
hair.
got a, I
You're
got a
one of
few
those
dad,
dudes.
I got a few dad rolls right now, so it may not work out too well.
Well, that's what happens. You know what I mean? You have a set of twins. The boys are now what, four, going on five?
Therefore, they turn 5 next month. I'm in full dad mode, son. We're just eating all their snacks at nighttime. It's it's going good.
You know the problem with being a dad and a dad of young kids. This is what I learned how as to why I gained a lot of weight for no reason is when they don't finish their food. Do you notice you're
Bro,
like picking off of their plates? You're like,
So
you
good.
know.
I love it, bro. I get a little extra bite. It's great. Bro, I'm true dad mode, just fat. Well, I can't really cuss on here, right?
You can. It's all right. It happens. We just kind of let it flow. We know you're a potty
So,
mouth, so you control what you can. If not,
yeah,
let's let it fly. It's all good.
I,
I
I'll
think the
Best.
control.
60, the 60 subscribers aren't gonna hold it against you.
How many times
Yeah.
have you been eating those like little puffs back in the day? And you're like, oh, these are terrible. And you eat like the whole bottle. You're like, oh, these are so bad.
The Star Puffs, those little rice puff things.
Yes.
Oh,
You
so
know,
good.
you know what's surprisingly not good anymore is like Little Debbie's. Like minus the
Ew.
Swiss rolls, like all the other ones, like even the cosmic brownies don't hit anymore.
Ew.
So, a little disappointing.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
But the boys are four, going on five. One thing, Coach Greg, that you don't know is they have now joined the Luch Chiefs, and this is their second season in Learn to Play, which is like a touch or flag
It's like
football version.
football version of T-ball.
Yeah.
Loving it.
They play
It's like
sharks and
you get a
minnows.
carry.
Yeah, they play sharks and minnows. It's just straight fun. Nothing too serious. Warm
Oh
ups do
yeah.
get a little serious, but it's all fun.
There's a lot of kids out there right now. There's like a dozen of that Learn to
Yeah.
Play group. They are phenomenal little humans. Every time I drive around, um, both Keith and Sammy, they break whatever they're doing. And then when
Mhm.
they come run over to me, all other 10 kids run up to me. They don't even know who I am. They're hugging, dapping me up. And the
Yeah.
coaches are like, what are we doing right now?
They're like,
And
they do exist.
yeah,
What?
it it's listen, it's amoeba soccer at its best. You know what I mean?
You must suck.
Soccer. All
What
right.
what do they call what do they call it now? They call it kill the carrier or something.
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
right? We call it something else,
Spirits
which
or
we
something.
can't really say anymore, but
I don't
it's
know
called
this game.
it's called kill the carrier. They love the
Yeah.
moss, even though none of them can catch or throw.
No, it's quite hysterical trying to watch a kid catch a ball out there.
Kyle, what does it feel like? How does it feel being out there? Because Kyle is also coaching his sons. How does it feel going out there and watching your kids actually
Hey,
learn a
put a
football
shirt on.
skill?
Oh wait,
You know what I
Coach
mean?
Austin to see your haircut.
Mm.
Yeah.
Let's see it.
He's about to put a
Mullet, straight mullet.
yeah.
He's not gonna show you till
Oh
tomorrow.
God, no
Tomorrow.
way. Tell us, how does it feel
Uh,
coaching your own sons?
it's cool. I kind of wanted to be like the parent on the sideline, so like they can get yelled at from somebody else. But it's cool. Like I'm just a big kid out there. Like we're just running around having fun. So I'm doing cartwheels out there, just being a goofball. I don't know. It's cool.
Yeah.
But it's fun. It's funny how Tim got me to coach. I'm sitting there on the sideline for the first week, and he was like, "Hey, or he sent me. Did you register the kids?" He said, "Did you register the kids?" And I was like, "No, not yet." He sent me the registration. I open it up. It's asking me these questions for my social security. I'm like, "What? This is a background check. What? What are we doing?" And so that's how he got me into coaching on the field. So yeah.
Oh, Kyle, when did you start? Because Kyle is also an alumni of the Luch Chiefs. There are a few pictures that I have on my camera roll somewhere of him in his highlight reel days
Yeah.
with his Justin Bieber haircut.
Yeah,
Tell us,
man. It's-
full circle. How does it feel? Do you like that the kids are playing football? Do you not want them to do what you did? Um,
I don't know, man. Like, definitely this young, keeping them out of pads, definitely a move. Maybe get them to do a little bit of rugby practices before putting them pads, just so know how to move your head around, know how to fall without pads on, instead of being like me, just throwing yourself at people, So yeah, man, I'm a little nervous. I thought I was gonna be a tough dad. I'm not. I'm the softest dude ever. I have to like hold myself back when they like fall down too hard or like a kid tackles them and they kind of get like a little weird face. Nah, no, sit back, don't go over there. So it's
Your wife's
weird.
like, they're fine.
well, hey,
Yeah, she's like they're fine.
why don't we compare and contrast it? Because Coach Greg, both of his sons are now playing at Steinbrenner. Everett
Yeah,
is starting with JV, and Gregory's in his third season,
Second.
second season with
yeah.
varsity at Steinbrenner. What about you, Coach Greg? How about when the boys, when you see them in the weight room struggling, when you see them getting tackled or blocked by bigger kids, how do you feel?
So we held off on contact until they played flag all the way up through middle school. There are times where you can see them trying to catch up a little bit on certain things, but on the plus side, their bodies are healthier. But I think Gregory's moving real well. He's strong in the weight room. Squat or deadlifted 405 for 5 the other day as a
Nice.
sophomore, and he's just ready to get after his sophomore season. He's working for trying to get a starting spot on defense, and he's been playing really well at the defensive end and helping back up the linebackers. And Everett is going to be fun. I'm excited to see him. He actually today, Austin. I was like, "How's practice today?" He's been working at the H back position, and
Oh,
he's like,
nice.
"Good." I asked Coach Cody if I could try running back today, so we'll see.
Whoa.
We'll
Okay.
see.
Well, you didn't answer the question. So the question was, how did it feel the first time because you held them out for so
Okay,
long?
so the first time,
When did he
uh,
start?
high school freshman
High
year,
school.
Really?
Wow.
Okay.
yeah.
High school.
So Gregory had practice is practice. They're gonna hit, but it's like, oh, okay, get up, you're soft.
Mm.
Uh, First game last year was preseason, and Gregory's lined up blitzing off the edge against two senior huge bastards from I don't remember who played preseason last year.
Uh,
Um,
oh, we're gonna get this wrong anyways. Look it up
don't
real
worry,
quick
it
because
was
we're
a
gonna
team,
fact check it.
and there are two big dudes. I don't even know if I should tell the story, but he gets absolutely laid out
Yeah.
like not 800 pounds a guy on top of him, and he
Yeah.
comes over and he's like, "Should I feel my heart beating in my penis?" I was like, "Yeah, you're good. Don't worry about it. It's all right."
Yeah. He I remember that he came off the field because he was still with us at running backs also. He was kind of doing dual duty. And I said, "Hey, are you good?" And he remember when he would come work out on Sundays after
Yeah.
doing some of the sleds and picking up and lifting tires and carrying them. He'd do the I can't breathe. So he came off the field and I'm like, "Hey, are you good?" And
Yeah.
he's like, I don't know. And I'm like, go get water. But meanwhile, I had that same fear for him for the very first time. I was like, oh my gosh, he's gonna get
Yeah.
wrecked right here. He does not
He,
know what's coming.
I think just working out with you and the guys for a year and a half, I think he just had so much armor built up. Like he would get hit, but
Yeah,
he would get up and
yeah,
hold his own. So
yeah.
I don't think he has a whole lot of fear. He's learning what his body will allow him to do and not do right now still. So I think
Yeah.
that's where kind of the learning gap is kind of learning how to read and catch up a little bit on that stuff. But
We're also
he's
learning the basics of football, right? Like keep
yeah,
your
yeah.
head on a swivel and do not stand next to the pile. Those are
Yeah.
two cardinal sins because I made a living taking out dudes that did either that were not looking or that stood next to the pile just watching ball watching. So I
Oh,
remember in the Armwood game he did that and a guy cleaned his clock too, and
yes.
I was like, hey,
Just
what
standing
I
around the
tell you,
pile.
don't do not stand
And you
around the
remember,
pile.
I was like, oh, he's not getting up. And then he got up, and
Yeah,
he's just staring the
yeah.
dude down. I'm like, all right, that's not the guy you want to stare down. Come on, get back
Yeah. Hey, come on, son.
Come
Son.
on.
Come on, stop.
here.
We get it. You made it. You're alive. Come on. Get up.
Great.
Kyle, when
Yeah,
do you think you're gonna put the boys in tackle? Is that
I'm
still an
not
ongoing
sure.
conversation?
Yeah, I mean, we're just gonna play it by ear, keeping them in Lutz Chiefs and then maybe trying out soccer a little bit, seeing what they like most. I've been looking at like some gyms that do like jiu-jitsu and MMA stuff that I kind of wish I did when I was younger. And then,
Yeah.
maybe something we can get in together and then kind of learn together. Obviously, I'm past my time, but it'd be good to know. So but
Yeah.
I'm not really sure. I'm just gonna play it by ear. Whenever they look like they're able to, they're able to pay attention and, keep their feet underneath them and, do a good job, I'll be fine with it.
Speaking of keeping your feet underneath you, Kyle, you were known as one of our linebackers that flew around, kind of reckless, to be honest. I mean, to be fair,
correct.
a reckless individual.
Right
Um,
there.
tell us some of your favorite memories, some of the things you remember the most about Steinbrenner football in your days. For those who don't know Kyle, he graduated 2015. Am I correct? So
14.
14. So
Yeah.
he was in the days when we were transitioning out of the old, like brand new
He's
guys
our
are just
second straight 2014 guy.
that's it.
Oh yeah,
That's it.
Hubbard. Yeah.
Yeah, we had Hubs on the other day. Hubbard was funny as hell too to talk to because completely different perspective. And in fact, Coach Perez and I were talking this morning at football practice, which just started, and he goes, "I love Hubbard. I love Hubbard as a person because
Mhm.
great to talk to, funny, engaging." He goes, "But that's the kind of football player that, as a coach, makes you pull your hair out." Because on the last episode, he admitted it. He's like, "Yo, I wasn't really there for the football. I was there for the
Yeah.
camaraderie. I was there for the brotherhood and for the experience." Which that's what the show kind of entails. Is there are some guys that really want to go play college and really want to chase a dream. Some guys just want to be with the boys, and he's the classic case of that, and he never pretended like he was tough. He never pretended like he liked the weight room. He never pretended like he could walk off an injury or rub some dirt in it.
Yeah.
That's why you love Hubs, because
Yeah,
he's
man.
exactly like that now. But tell us what your experience was like.
I mean, with football, man, it was you know, I think we just like tortured ourselves like crazy, like outside of football practices with you, and then also at practice, with Tanner making us do rolls and stuff on the softball field that's, a foot deep in water. Um, but yeah, I mean, it was a lot of stuff like you making us bear crawl on the track when it was concrete and getting complaints,
Yes.
stuff like that. But
Yeah.
no, it was for me, it was just like the football aspect. It was like a lot of ridiculous hard workouts, a lot of fun practices, a lot of fun, shooting the shit with the guys in the locker room, like the locker room, the dinners before the games, all that stuff. It was we just had a good group of guys that, we'd shoot a lot of shit, but then when it's game time, we'd lock in and, we would just literally fly around. So
That's dope.
that's
Yeah, you
on
guys
the
had a group of guys who ragtag group of guys, because some of the guys still came from other high schools and they were transferring in, but you were the second class, or no, the first class of full from freshman to
I think
right.
second. I
That
think
was
second.
full from freshman
Were we?
to
Well, so 2009
Because it was
was
2009.
the first actual, they were class of 2010 was
yeah.
the first group of kids. And then after that, you had 11, 12, 13 would have been the third full class.
Well, what I mean is his class was the first or the second class that didn't
To
have
go.
guys that transferred from other high
Gotcha,
schools.
gotcha.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like they started as freshmen in the JV program with
Yeah.
Coach Jordan. Coach Jordan was your JV coach, right?
Yep.
And then
So, and there's not many classes if you look back. I would argue the 2019 class. I would argue the 2015 class, both phenomenal groups.
yeah,
Probably our two best runs we've had. And then maybe 2014, probably our three groups of guys that were the closest on and off the field. And I think they saw a lot of success because of that. You see, look at 2019; those guys did everything together. They did everything
yeah,
for each other. Same with 15. You had Marabella, Lucert, those guys battling each other out.
yeah,
Washington, and I think a lot of those guys learned from that 14 group, kind of
100%.
like because you had, I mean, you had the group of just like Fitch, Atkinson, Scorincheck, Hubbard, Carroll.
yeah.
That was a super
Norder.
tiger, Nakovich. And then
Yeah.
on your side, Kyle, you had another really strong, close group of guys. I mean, you guys were still close with those guys, but you guys, like, you guys just had a brotherhood that lasted forever with some of your guys. You know what I mean? And
Mm.
it just speaks a testament there to like when a team can gel together and they enjoy each other, they can do some very special things on and off the field.
Yeah, 100%. That defensive group also included, remember, one of your best friends that I remember is Keith Rohde, and such a good friend that, in fact, Kyle named one of his twin boys Keith.
Yeah.
And
First one out.
that's it. Unfortunately, for those who don't know, and for those who are just joining us or and following us in this journey, Keith, we unfortunately lost in 2018 to a boating accident. He was 22 years old. It was a freak accident, but I think of the people that hit the hardest because he was in that group of Polar Pop guys, and you were his best friend by far because you
Yeah.
guys did everything together. It took a toll on you. It took a toll on me too because I remember when it first happened. You were in my
Bro,
kitchen with your dad. Remember?
yeah,
We were
man.
like we
Mhm.
were both kind of beside ourselves, not sure because life kind of happened. That's the
Mm.
first moment for you for sure that
Yeah.
something in real life in real time happened. What happened? What was your thought process when you first heard the news that we lost Keith?
I mean, I couldn't believe it. It was a Sunday night, just, had a couple drinks, laid down in bed, got a phone call from, his dad, Mitch. And, you know, uh, when you get a call late at night, you're going to bed, I didn't pick up. I was like, let me just, but I get a voicemail, call me back serious. And, I called him right back and he gave me the news. I jumped out of bed, I mentioned something about you, or he said something about you, and he told us to come over. So that's when I gave you a call, and
Yeah.
yeah, so I hopped up, let my parents know, and for some reason, which I kind of get it now, my dad wanted to. He was like, "You're not driving." I was like, Just let me drive to Austin's house. We're gonna go together, no big deal." But he's like, "No, I'm driving." I was like, "All right," and turned out to be the best thing because having my dad there was important. And then I appreciate you and everything because I don't know how you do it, man. When shit hits the fan, you always have the right things to say. And I was lost as hell. I didn't know what was going on when we came back from his mom's house. Outside the gate, you gave me a little pep talk, and because they told me to break the news to everybody and
Yeah.
let everybody know. So it was tough. I didn't know how to really deal with it. And, my stubborn ass, I still went to work the next day,
Yeah.
not really doing the work, but I was in the back on my phone, letting people know, talking to people, giving phone calls and stuff like that. So, it was tough. Time made it easier, but, all those memories, man. Like, dude was like my brother, so it's
Yeah.
tough, you know. And we had like a great personality mixture because, like, you know, he'll talk for days and he'll come up with stories that I completely forgot about, and I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, I remember that, I remember, and then I'll be able to jog my memory, and you know, so it's weird not having, you know, my brother with me, but you know,
Yeah. I
I'm still close with his family. You know,
yeah.
I was just talking to Maria the other day. You know, we're probably they're always up in North Carolina now,
Yeah.
at their
At
house
their
up in the
new
mountains.
house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man, they don't even live here no more. They're always up
Nah.
there. So they when they come back down, we're gonna go have lunch with the kids. The kids love it over there.
Yeah.
They do gingerbread houses every Christmas over at their house. So it's
Yeah.
good, man.
Eh,
We're
Listen, that when it happened, I remember I got my phone was blowing up too, because both Mitch and Maria called me, and then you were calling me, and Michelle was like, "What's going on?" And I'm like, I'm gonna find out, right?" And um, you come to realize all of the stuff and all of the experiences I had as a kid with death and people in our neighborhood dying, um, tragically it prepares you because I wasn't prepared back then, and you had to process it kinda in real time speed, and so, this is the first time I look back at it, um, after getting the phone calls, and the first thing I thought was, "Oh, damn, I got I wonder how Kyle's doing." You know, let me make sure I take care of Kyle and make sure I share, some of the stuff that I've felt through those years that, I've had to deal with the same thing at a young age, um, and I realized it, like, wait a minute, this is not normal, especially in Lutz, Florida, right?
No, it's not normal.
And awkwardly enough, um, uh, Keith was the kind of person that you would never think would nothing would like that would ever happen
Nah, bro.
because
Yeah, he was invincible, bro.
invincible, and
Yeah.
he had a personality, that was invincible too. So,
Mhm.
one thing I asked when I talked to Maria was I said, "Hey, can we see him?" You know what I mean? And what where it broke me was where she said, "Yeah, you can't because of the nature of how he passed." She goes, "It's just it's not something that anybody should be there for." Um, and I at that point, again, those that closure point, that's where when we were talking, you and I were talking, that's where that experience for myself, seeing that stuff live, you don't need to see that to get your closure. You don't need to see that stuff to put in your mind to taint all of the things that you and I and Coach Greg are chopping up about now, because the things that we remember are the things that made him who he was, that made him electric for our our football program, but as a brother to you, as like another son for us. So some of those things and some things in life don't have to be spoken. Some things don't have to be seen. Um, but for all the same reasons, it's to protect the memories and the experiences from that person, which, we I talk to Maria quite a bit and every year too with Mitch, and they are such a great family. And they took everything in stride. Um, they asked me to do the eulogy, which was a new thing for me. And ironically, I've done 3 in my lifetime, and that wasn't the first one.
Yeah.
And only in doing it that time, for one, I hadn't seen that many people at somebody's eulogy or at somebody's
Convention
celebration of life. Yeah,
convention center was packed. There
yeah,
was no more seats. People were
yeah,
standing up down the aisles and the back.
yeah,
I think the
wh
whole football team came by.
yeah,
The
which
I
is a
what was surprising for me was, that caught me off guard was the old boys were there from rugby, and I was like, "Wow, I didn't even think about that." I guess so much going on that week or 2, but
yeah.
seeing the old boys and then seeing my, not just my football brothers, but my rugby brothers, and we're all together. It was definitely a special day, man.
Yeah, and it speaks volumes for him as a human, and even though he was 22 and he probably didn't have more than a couple $100 to his name. Remember, he had just bought a 4Runner. he was trying to buy Jordan Haggard's dad's old, like 250,000 mile Forerunner, but
Yeah.
he ended up buying a Forerunner. He was so proud of it. He came
Yeah.
over and showed us, and
He
um,
brought it up.
yeah, he was so happy, but he was the type of human being that was completely authentic. And I think whenever you met him, people knew it. And so having been at multiple other funerals and celebrations of life, his was I was taken aback to see how many people that a 22-year-old affected in such a short amount of time.
Mhm.
And often the other eulogies that I've done, um, you at the end of it, people stand up and they share a memory or an experience or something about that person. And oftentimes at 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour. Remember, they had to cut it off because it
Yeah.
was almost 2 hours worth of people saying not what he did for them, but
Mhm.
who he was as a person. So, I mean, it was an amazing event. I felt incredibly honored to do the eulogy. The first time also too, I almost broke down myself
Yeah.
because it was just looking around in the crowd. There were so many people that were um, close to him, that were close to you, that were close to us, me and Coach Greg as a football program. It was amazing. At the same time, it was, very, very tragic. Um,
Yeah.
but those experiences make us who we are now. You know what I mean? And although it will never go away, the memories will never go away. They get better and they get softer year after year. As long as we never forget, the good memories that we're sharing now, like chopping it up and laughing about them now, because I do remember, and one of my favorite things about Keith was he was a big garage sale guy. Greg, you'll love this. So
I remember this.
we would after working out, because we used to work out at Calusa Trace Park before or after we would work out and before we go to Polar Pop, they always have garage sales around there. Well, he comes late to one of the workouts and we're like, what the hell's your problem? What are you doing? He goes, whoa, whoa, guys, 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 check this out. I got this cool American flag baseball cap. Remember that?
Yeah.
And then he says, I got this fly fishing rod. And I'm like, do you know how to fly fish? And he goes,
No.
no, but we're gonna figure it out today. And I'm like, okay. It already had a little fly on it, but the hook was rusty and the line was kind of old. So we work out.
It was somebody's granddaddy's old fishing line, and they sent it out
Yeah,
the attic or something.
yeah. And at the end of our workout, we're already dog tired and it's blazing heat out there. He's like, check this out, guys. It's not that hard. He starts casting this thing back out. And the line's getting longer and longer. And if you've ever fly fished, you understand that the cast, when you pull back, it's an arc that you have to throw. But he didn't realize you can only create such a long enough arc before it starts whipping back at you. So he's throwing, and then he's like, huh, what happened? He goes, I think I just hooked myself.
Yeah.
So he ends up hooking himself with the old rusty fly. And we're like, oh, this is exactly what we needed on a Sunday.
Bro,
Because now we
right
gotta
at the
go.
shoulder blade. It was,
Yeah. It was in a
yeah,
good, it was in a nice meaty spot in his shoulder
yeah.
blade.
Like you
And
pull the hook back. You try to pull the hook back, and
Oh,
yeah,
it's like you're pulling his skin out. It was
yeah.
like, oh my god.
I'm like, this is exactly what I didn't need. We don't need to go to the hospital right now to go get this thing taken out. Remember what he said? He goes, "Hey, there's a knife in
Just cut
my."
it out.
Yeah, he goes, "Just cut it out." And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, let's go. We can do this." And I'm like, "But wait a minute. How are we go? I mean, it's a rusty hook. How are we going to disinfect it? Because it's."
or
And he goes,
or
"You
alcohol
know,
in it.
yeah." He goes, "I think I got an old beer in my passenger seat." No lie. There's a beer that's lukewarm, that's open, sitting in his thing. He's
It
just
was
pour it on there.
hot
Remember
beer.
that?
Yeah.
So
That's awful.
we poured a hot beer on there, and he goes, "Nobody else touch me. I just want Coach Austin to do it." And I'm like, okay. So I'm pulling the skin back, and I'm like,
Yeah.
he goes, just cut it fast. And I'm like, I can't. This is disgusting.
Right. It just popped.
And we just cut it, popped it,
Boom.
and immediately the rest of the day carried on. There was a little
Yeah.
bit of blood. He took his shirt, pressed his shirt, the blood on the shirt. I'm like, maybe we should go get it checked. Maybe we should go, and he goes, maybe we should just go to Polar Pop. And I'm like, let's do it. And one of my absolute favorite stories about Keith, because
Yeah, that was a good one.
one of those dudes, man. What about you, Kyle? Give us one. You got a million stories. Please keep it slightly
Yeah.
PG
Yeah,
about
yeah.
him.
I mean, you guys did well. Just the classic one is just you guys showing up to Polar Pops and me and Rhodey are already there. We're passed out on the back of our trucks because we were out at some good old fashioned high school parties, and instead of driving home because it was basically morning time, we would just drive to Sunday morning workouts, sit there, have another beer on the back of the car or back of our trucks, and then we'd wake up and you guys were there and we started working out.
We do not condone this.
We do not
Yeah.
condone this.
Yeah.
Disclaimer. But I was there. There were mornings that they were still drinking beers. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? I was like, we figured we'd just come straight over to work out. And I gave it to them. They were a tough crew of guys when it came
Yeah.
to Dietz, Norder,
Dietz.
Kyle, Keith.
Dietz,
Those
man.
dudes were they were tough as nails. And so I think, like you were saying, Coach Greg, to circle back to it is that 2014 year, which I think that was the 7-3 year, right? That we missed just at the end because we lost to Sickles.
So
Right?
it was that was our junior year, 7-3, and our senior year was 5-5.
Senior year, we had the Jay Carroll injury. Fitch had a game where he was hurt. And
Yeah.
he threw seven interceptions.
17 interceptions.
Well, listen, Kyle.
Do you remember?
Go ahead.
Do you remember?
It was because the arm shortness.
Do you remember the day that Rohde kept nagging and pointing at Tanner, and they went head to head?
Well, Tanner was. We were testing him all year because, our junior year was we were getting close to him because he was. We were taking everything he was giving us, so I feel like he found some respect for us because he's like, oh, these guys are some lunatics.
Oh, he loved you guys.
But yeah, so we start to see him for outside the persona of Coach Tanner back in the day. And so the senior year, we kept on picking at him. And one day towards the end of the year, he just was like, we're going to line up and we're going to do the drills. I think Atkinson went first. And, he went a little light on him. Tanner kind of got the best of him, but I don't think he was going full speed. Rhodey was like, oh, we're doing this? And just don't get mad at me, Coach Ed, but went right through Tanner, went to the fence. It was absolutely hysterical.
Would never happen ever today.
Isn't that when Tanner put on a helmet too?
I think he had the helmet on. I think he had the helmet on, yeah.
So he put on a helmet and started lining up blocking drills with them. But what a lot of people don't know, remember, Keith at 175 pounds was our pulling guard. Remember that?
Man, I completely forgot. Yeah.
He was starting at linebacker, but he wanted to play offense. Remember, he actually wanted to play running back. And at senior night, we gave him a carry at senior night. But Coach Graham at the time to then Coach Perez, because you were in that transition of Coach Graham and Coach Perez, right?
Oh yeah, we were.
He goes, yeah, you can play offense. You got to play guard. Remember, Rhodey was like, yeah, heck yeah, I'll play guard.
He was fast.
What's better, wrapping around the line and just drilling somebody in the side of the head? What's better? Old school football. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, but remember going back to our last week episode, I remember Plant City when he was trying to pull against what was his name, the big kid from Plant City,
the monster,
the monster. He's setting the edge, and Rhodey was trying to kick him, and it was like Rohde was running into a brick wall.
Yeah. I think the equivalent to that guy was like the Apopka game with the guy that committed to Georgia. It's like the same, like the just an
Yeah,
absolute like who's this specimen on the field right now?
that guy was a freak. That's
And
Jalen Carter,
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
I still have nightmares of that guy because he was just shut down our offense single handedly. I mean,
top
he's a
top top 10
yeah,
draft pick.
yeah,
Mhm.
starting nose tackle for the Eagles.
Yeah, I
They're
think
like,
when he got drafted, I sent it. I think I sent it in the group chat with all the younger guys, saying like, "Ain't this the guy that just?" Well, I said it in a little bit. I was like, "Ain't this the guy that?" Yeah. They were like, "Yeah, shut up." I'm like,
You guys
"Sorry,
remember
sorry.
him?
I thought we were cooled off from the situation. My bad, my bad."
now listen, Kyle, this is 10 years for you, 10 years removed, but you live up in Land O'Lakes. You do frequently, come back to work out with me and the Polar Pop guys, but you do come to the games.
Yeah.
What is your perspective like of the program almost 10 years later removed from it?
Well, one, I wish we had y'all's jerseys. We had like these baggy garbage can jerseys, but no, it's cool, man. Like seeing the coaching staff look damn near professional. Y'all look great. It's seeing the growth of Coach Perez is pretty damn cool. Getting put in the spotlight and then just handling business. So it's awesome seeing what he's done with Steinbrenner, and it's pretty cool, man. I like it. I I I don't think I went out too much last season, but I try to come out when I can, and it's always a good feeling. It's all the same faces pretty much, and
Yeah,
it's just awesome seeing how much we've grown. Turf field, everything, rubber
yeah,
track. What's going on, jumbotron? Like,
yeah. Well, we actually
okay, awesome.
we got another screen on the other
Yeah,
side now too. You know
why
how all
not?
the
Why not?
I mean, we're in Lutz, but the
Uh,
crazy part about it is every school in Hillsborough County above the old scoreboard has new scoreboard, and it's smaller than our jumbotron, but it's
mhm.
an LED screen as well too. So now we've got both sides that are going to be flowing, dude. It's going to be
and
awesome.
and we got new stadium lights that you probably haven't seen that were put in
Oh
last year
yeah,
that you could put like strobe light shows on after
yeah.
touchdowns.
My question is what did Austin get a class on how to work on the jumbotron? Because I remember he said something about him going up to the school and got struck by a light. I was like, who qualified him to work on this?
Nobody.
What-
So he
I'm
legitimately
like,
he'll be like, "Hey, Craigie, you want to come help me?" I'm like, "Yeah, what's up,
no.
dude?" He's like, "I need you to hold the ladder and so I look up like he's like 20 feet in the air in his Crocs and on this
Yeah.
little beam leaning over. I'm like, bro, don't you think you should be like strapped
Not
in?
even in sport mode. Not even in sport mode.
No,
No.
no, absolutely not.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh my
And I'm
gosh.
like, yo, can I have those Crocs if you fall? You don't need them.
Here's the truth. When we first got that scoreboard, and ever since, we've had problems with the damn thing. So Coach Perez and I are chit-chatting, and he's like, "Hey, do you know how to work any of this scoreboard?" I said, "Yeah, yeah, it's LED stuff. I know a little bit about it." And it's
I
the
lined
same.
my whole roof in my bedroom with them.
Yeah. Here's the problem. Um, if we have the guy come from Sarasota to replace a tile, we have to pay for that guy to travel. Then we have to pay for the labor and then back. So it's to the tune of hundreds of dollars, and it may not happen that same day. So I'm like, you know what? Let me give it a shot. Let me go up there. So, like Coach Greg is saying, the first time I went up there in Crocs, no lie, with a ladder, I had no safety harness, no nothing. And I'm just
And the
crawling up
walkway is
there.
like this big.
Better than me, bro. That's better than me.
Listen, there's even a better part of the story because I asked Coach Greg, he's like, "Nah, I'm staying down here.
No
But can I have
chance.
your Crocs? Can I have your Crocs if you fall and die?" I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely." But
They were nice.
Coach Jordan goes, "Yeah, I'll go up there." So I'm like, "All right, how bad can this be?" Now, you remember, this thing is a one post, and the thing is probably 40 feet long, right? 50 feet long. So imagine a teeter-totter. So as soon as I got up there, I'm cool. The second his 300-pound butt got up there, all of
Oh,
a
he
sudden,
went up there?
like, yeah, he got up there with me. That thing started waving and started, even when we were on the
Ooh.
first floor, I was like, well, yo, stop moving. Stop moving. We need some safety equipment. So how about this? We go back down. He looks in his Pathfinder. I look in my truck, and we find bungee cords. You know, the ones with the little plastic clips that you
Yeah.
just. So I'm like, yeah, I guess this is gonna have to work. So we start clipping it on with just these little like Harbor Freight tools, bungee clips, and about halfway through, and the thing is wobbling because we're just standing on it. He goes, Coach Jordan goes, if we fall, these bungee cords aren't gonna do anything. And I'm like, yeah, but I kind of feel better about it right now. So don't ruin the vibe. Let's just go with what
Yeah.
we got. Because it
Yeah.
literally is, it's just the hook. And then you just run the hook, you just clip it, and that's all you get.
Dude,
So
that's what I used to like hold my ladder against my fence outside, and it still falls
exactly.
off.
But listen, Kyle, we've upgraded. I went on Amazon. I bought a proper safety harness from
Okay.
China. I can't read any of the instructions, but I just assumed that's how I put it on. It's got
Yeah.
proper carabiner clips. I'm the only one that goes up there. But that thing, like I said, it had
I do
given us
think there was
problems.
I think one of the times you went up, I was throwing stuff at you, trying to knock you off. I
Yeah.
think that
Oh
happened.
yeah. Yeah,
I was like,
that
damn,
was
I really
early
want
on.
those are some nice props.
That was early on. You thought it was funny to move the ladder.
It's hilarious.
I was like, yeah, but how am I going to get down now? So, but I find it a hobby now because it really is a cool jumbotron. The problem is the parts and pieces are a mix and match. So sometimes you get an old tile next to a new tile, or an old power supply next to a new power supply, and then you have to just go up there and kind of diagnose it and figure it out. But once you do, and everybody enjoys a Friday night with the lights on and the big jumbotron, dude,
It's
I don't
such
mind all the
habitat.
cuts yeah, like all the cuts and scrapes.
You just
And
got we got to get you a shirt, a Tico shirt. Just throw that on
You know what
when you go
my
yeah,
up there.
favorite
yeah,
part of it is? It does not matter how long he's up there and how much work he does and how beautiful he makes it. The second one of the tiles go down, every single coach is like, "Oh, way to go, Austin! Nice
yeah.
job, bud! Awesome work, dude!"
As they should. As they should.
They do. They do. Or Coach Perez will just do like this. He stands on the sideline. He goes like
Just
this.
be like, the real
Oh
question
yeah.
is, why are you buying cheap jumbotrons around here? Get one.
But the one that the county's putting in, it's much smaller, but it looks like it's gonna be a cool
So
one
it's still
too.
like a screen on there, right?
Yeah, but it's only as big as the score, like a
The
third of the
score, the
score.
original one, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And so
It's
now it's gonna
interesting.
be,
It's gonna be fun
weird
though. We'll have a
because
lot of different things.
it's gonna be like a miniature Raymond James with all the LED screens everywhere. But I don't know who's gonna work them all, dude.
Yeah.
We
It's
have
kind
a
of
whole
like
crew.
no, I don't think you were around for this. I was gonna say it was similar to the old manatee ones that we used to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
It's just like the
I
small
definitely
middle
know.
screen.
Yeah, no, I'll tell you, when I was at Lakeland, it was the same. Lakeland, they had a big jumbotron. They have a whole class on how to use it, operate it, and do all those things. We're gonna have to have that now, and with our lights, Kyle. You have not seen these lights. They literally just push a button. Whoop! There's no warming up the bulbs. Whoop! It comes
Huh?
on
It's
at
like 8 different
at,
colors.
at touchdown time. They run it
Wait,
blue.
they
It
changed colors?
flashes. Yo, it flashes in blue, and yeah, they do that.
Blue, gold, purple,
Yeah.
red.
And then in between the third and fourth quarter, then they do was it Paul Anka?
Hey,
Touching
hey,
me,
baby,
touching you, sweet
sweet Caroline.
Caroline. Bum,
And the whole
bum,
crowd and the lights
bum.
go ba ba ba.
Yeah, and they
And
flash all the lights. Pretty cool.
then Coach Lawan Long is like Steinbrenner.
Yeah. Steinbrenner. This is Steinbrenner. You gotta love Coach Juan. Like it's been a huge change, but at the same time, the culture that we had built with you guys, it's still the same now, ironically, right? Like, and I think that's why the program eventually is going to outlast Coach Greg and I, but the culture never will. So I think that's what bringing guys like you on is super important because now we see what you look like, and now that's what we're going to transition into is what's life like after football. Tell us what you're doing now. Tell us what a day in the life of Kyle Coffield looks like.
Man, a day in the life. I don't know, wake up late for work. No, but I just clock in for work, leave work, hang out with the kids, cook dinner, put the kids down by like 7:30, 8 o'clock, hit the gym. Well, I've been slacking on the gym the past, little bit. But usually that's my time for the gym, 8:30, 9:30 gym sessions. But yeah, man, just I like to try to stay on schedule with things, have a nice little pattern, and then on the weekends, whatever we want to do, we try to do with the kids. And with it being summer right now, we're off the walls. Last night we got home at like 12 o'clock. We decided to go to the beach last night just to watch the sunset with the kids, and that was a great time, man. That was the first time like we've been to the beach before, but it was like miserably hot. They didn't really go in the water because they were like two. Now they're running around playing with the sand. But I'll tell you what, man, that there's nothing better. Me and my wife, we sat back and we're on the chairs. We're literally watching them play with the sunset behind them, playing music, and I'm like, what is life, bro? Like the sweetest feeling is that right there. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So, and that's the thing is just doing the little things, man. Like you don't need to put aside like plan these crazy trips. Like Coach Austin was just coming back from Orlando, and he knows I'm from Orlando. He's like, "Yo, where should we take the kids for lunch?" And I'm like, "Dude, there's this cool little place, T Rex Cafe,
yeah,
downtown Disney, and the
Dope.
kids will remember that forever."
yeah. Best
But
That
like,
plan.
place is dope.
so and then
Being
for you guys, like, you don't live far from like the what's it called? It's the North Aero Park, Tampa North Aero Park. It's a little airport right up off 54 or 56. And there's a place there called the Happy Hangar. And you can legitimately just go up there for breakfast and watch little airplanes take off with your kids all through breakfast. It's
Talking
awesome.
about where I'm at on 54. Is it
It's probably
like
15
Wesley
minutes from your
Chapel?
house. Yeah, it's Wesley Chapel area.
happy
I
But
think
look
I
up,
hangar.
know what you're talking about.
look,
It's
look
like
up.
right off the road, and you see the planes
Yep,
go there. Yeah, yeah. I didn't know there was a
that's the
place.
thing. Yeah, it's just look up the Happy Hangar Cafe. It's cheap breakfast. It's like little old Southern people, and you just sit there and
Yeah.
watch planes land and go out. But those are the things the kids will remember forever, man. Those little things, like,
Yeah.
oh, remember that time we went to the beach late at night? Like,
Hmm.
that's awesome. Just make memories, dude. That's what it's
Yeah.
about.
You want me to? Can I tell you the truth, Kyle?
Talk
Now
to
that
me.
we're here, when Kyle and Rocio first got pregnant, for one, I was the first one he told.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
were we were in we were at the Burger King drive-in because
I
it
was
was
nervous, bro. I
it
was
was 10
nervous.
it was 10 nuggets for $1. We were just coming from rugby practice.
Tell
Damn,
them
the
what we
good
were driving.
And
days.
Tell them what we were driving in.
Was it
we
a
were
mini
we're
truck?
driving we were driving in a Jeep. The Jeep that now Kyle owns.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he's sitting in the passenger seat, I'm in the
We
in the
like this.
driver's seat,
That
and
the
he
black
goes,
one?
"Yeah."
Mhm.
And he goes, "I gotta tell you something." And I'm like, "What?" And he goes, "We're having a baby." And I was like, "What?"
I
He's
don't
like,
remember that.
Rocio's pregnant. And I go, "Oh, hell yeah." And he had no clue how to take it.
No, because bro, like I'm like nervous, like everything. Like I haven't told anybody. I'm worried about people judging and all that. And like his reaction like changed like my whole way of thinking about it. Because and him being excited about it and
Yeah.
like freaking out. I was like, oh damn, this is exciting. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
It's such a listen, it's a just just conception to gestation to delivery of human beings. That is a miracle. Like people don't realize how difficult that is to happen. and
Mhm.
just to carry through and now with two healthy boys like that, like
Yeah.
the chances of that in today's day and age with all the pressures and all the the terrible food and drugs that are out there, dude, it's
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
And so here we are. You're how old are you? 21?
Um, I was 22 when we found out, and then
Yeah.
23 when we had them, I think.
Like, what a terrifying event for a 22-year-old. But again, having been there multiple times before, I'm like, hell yeah, let's do this. We
Yeah.
can go for this. And I could
Yeah.
see the fear in his eyes. And
Bro,
truthfully, when we went home,
for
when
real.
I went home, I dropped you off and I told Michelle, and I
Mhm.
said, we're having grandbabies. We're having, she's like, what the
Yeah.
hell are you talking about? I
Yeah.
go, Kyle and Rocio are pregnant. She was like, "Oh my gosh, that's so amazing. This is what we're gonna do, and we'll be there
Yeah.
for them." The following day, she's like, "Is Kyle gonna be okay?" And I'm like,
Nope,
you know
but
what? I
he
didn't think
will be.
about that. I didn't think about that
Yeah.
because up to that point,
Right.
and remember, Kyle, we had known for so long, and we had known Kyle through the worst of his days with Rhodey next to him, that we were like, we were not sure how that was all going to play out, having two kids, and then having a
Yeah.
wife, like all together, all in one big shot. And I can tell you, just the other day when when we see the kids at the football field, and Michelle gets a chance to see you and talk to you. Remember the last time you guys were out there for
Mhm.
summer conditioning? She's like, Kyle is such a good dad. She goes, we were so wrong thinking because up, and that's why I say, let's be honest. You were
Yeah.
like the most self-centered dude in
Yeah,
high
bro. Like
school.
I'm in my own world. It's just I was just living. Yeah.
Egomaniac.
Hey man,
And
I am still the shit. Don't get it twisted. Like,
but
don't get
I'll
it
tell you,
twisted.
the job that you are doing with those kids is absolutely phenomenal. However, it's just the beginning. Remember,
Yeah.
that stuff
That's
is
scary.
it's a day-to-day battle. There's going to be days where you take them out to see the sunset and it's beautiful and you guys are having a great time. And there's days when they're just going to keep peeing and pooping in their pants. And they're going to keep fighting you about everything. And you're going to be like, what are we doing? But cumulatively, all those experiences that add up, if you soak all of them in and soak all of them up, it turns out the way it's supposed to. And so far, so good, Kyle. That's what I'm trying to get to. Is you
Appreciate
and Rocio are doing a phenomenal job. And I know because you guys fight like we fight, and like
it. Yeah.
Coach Greg fights with his wife. They got four, you got two, we got two, right?
I can't
Everyone's fighting,
imagine
Kyle.
for
Yeah.
And
I
an
could.
important lesson. My wife always tells me this whenever I get judgy. It doesn't happen much, but don't ever let somebody yuck your yum, man. If you got good news, share the
Ooh.
news, and if the
Ooh.
people take it well, then you
Yeah.
know you got them in your corner and they're with you. And you
Yeah.
know if they don't take it well, screw them and be happy that you're still
Yeah.
happy with your news. Your
Yeah,
news
man.
is your news, baby.
Yeah. Like
Don't yuck someone's yum.
Don't yuck somebody's yum.
y'all are
Yeah.
funny. Nah, but that's real because you start to you express yourself and then or you tell people some news or ideas or whatever and then you get like a bad reaction. It just sours you. So I've experienced that so much. So I tend to keep a lot of things to myself
That's where
now.
you
But
just go, hey man, it's cool
don't
that you
yuck.
feel that way. I just want to let you know because you're important to me. And then they're like,
Yeah.
oh man, I'm an ass.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Well, well, that's how you also know that people are with you, is
Yeah.
because those people that are willing to weather the storm with you
Mhm.
are different than those people that are willing to sit and watch the rainbow with you. They're not the same people, but I guarantee you, those people who will weather the storm with you, they'll be there when the rainbows are there. But the people who watch the rainbows with you, they're not necessarily the people that are going to be there when the storms hit. They sometimes, I'm out, I can't deal with it. And then you're like, yo, I thought we were friends. So I'm always the type too, is, you only ever really know who is really on your side or with you when
Mhm.
you can tell them not only the great things in life, but you can tell them all the stuff that sucks. And you don't
Yeah.
feel judged. You don't feel nervous to say it. You don't feel you just like you felt nervous saying it to me in the Jeep. I was like, yo, bet, let's
Straight
go.
butterflies. Straight butterflies. I don't know why.
Yeah. But
If he
likewise,
doesn't
it's
kiss me.
I'll tell you, but as like I said, as a coach for Kyle and watching him, us as coaches, watching our kids grow up to be young men, uh, to have firsthand experience of like big life changes that we are now just watching, observing instead of being a part of. It's such an exciting part of, like, for me as a coach, because more than anything that you've done on the field, I haven't been more proud of what you've done as a husband and as a father, because that all those lessons from the football field has clearly translated, even though football is well done and gone, you know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
that's how we know we're successful as coaches too, is when we see our players turn out to be good husbands, when we see them turn out to be good fathers and great men, no matter what their path ends up being. Your character is your character. I just shared with Kyra Patterson, who is interning in the clinic again, right?
Yeah.
It's
Oh, I gotta come in. Say what's up.
yeah. Listen, she is a phenomenal human, but this is how you know people are who they are. Is the value of a person is not by what they do. The value of the person is by who they are. And so you could tick off all these boxes. I did this for you. 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 But if you do it and you're scowling, if you do it and you're complaining the whole time you're doing it, like, you have added zero value to your relationship. You have added zero value to the organization or to the workplace or to the team, where you will see people who do all of those things for others, but they do it like lovingly. They do it selflessly. They do it with a ton of empathy. That's how you know those people are authentic. Those people are real, because they've come to realize the true value in relationships itself. And you, like I said, we were scared because we weren't sure how you were going to turn out,
Yeah.
but
Well,
phenomenally.
in the credit with to you and most of the coaching staff is, the way you guys coached, it wasn't just football. You guys coached very well to where, if that player locked in, you know, it's not just football knowledge, it's going to carry on throughout your whole life. And, you know, every time I run into a situation, it's just like, you got to go head on with it. You're not going to get out of a situation. You just you got to deal with it. And, like on Sunday workouts, what are you going to do when you're on the island by yourself? Nobody's coming to help you. You got to dig down and, you know, pull through. So got a long way to go with these boys, but it's
One
pretty
day at a
awesome.
time, man. One day at a
And you'll
time.
listen, you'll be young when you're finished. Listen, I'll be 48 and I still got a decade with these dudes. I'm gonna be old as dirt by the time I get kicking these guys out of my house. You know what I'm
Bro,
saying?
I'm telling you, don't take it for granted. Like, legitimately, my son just finished his class first permit, and he told me, he's like, "Yo, Dad, I'm only home for like 3 more years, bro." I was like, "Why would you say that? That's fucked up."
Yeah, that's
Don't
terrible,
say
dude.
that.
That's
Why are
up,
you
man.
telling me? Why are you telling me these things? Because you hate it. Because all those battles that you fight, all the lessons that you try to teach them, guess what? They learn them. And then all of a sudden they learn them, and then they go, "Yep, thanks for showing me all the ropes. Thanks for paying for everything and
I'm
giving
not
me
ready
house
for
and
that.
home."
Just
I'm not
enjoy
either,
these
bro.
moments, baby.
I
Enjoy these
told y'all
moments.
I'm soft. I thought I was gonna be a tough dad. I think I talked too much crap when
I
Rasul
try
was
to be a
pregnant.
tough dad, but you be making me
Oh,
laugh. Will Smith, shout out.
That's it. But you know what? Tell us, Kyle. We love closing the show. Now that we've done, and we could keep talking to you for hours. But
yeah.
I'm getting up to workout at 4:30 to then go to football practice at 6, which are now at morning time. So now we're practicing at 6 a.m. so we don't have to worry about heat indexes and wet bulbs and blah
Oh,
blah
really?
blah. Yeah, dude, 6 a.m. So
Come
I
out.
got
We'll
to
see
get
you
up.
out there
Like
Yeah,
with
yeah.
pads, like
on the
Yeah.
field.
eventually.
Well, full practices now. Yep.
Okay.
It's a new shift, but even today, the practices are way more productive. It's not a million degrees on the turf. We're not having to
And
worry about lightning
if
strikes or
if we practiced today in the afternoon, would have been rained out.
yeah,
It was
Yeah.
a
rained out.
monsoon today.
I think it rains at 4 o'clock every day.
Yeah, phenomenal. But before we end our episode, we usually ask our guests if you could tell or give one perspective or one nugget to those kids that are going through what you went through a decade ago about football, about high school life, about life in general, what would you tell them, Kyle?
About high school or life in
Anything.
general?
Yeah, do it.
Um, I mean, and just enjoy each stage of your life. Like, enjoy high school to the fullest. I think I took it a little bit too serious at times, but then on the back end, we had obnoxious fun. So just enjoy each time frame in your life, because my time frame, or my time at Steinbrenner was one segment, then with rugby was another segment, and then with the family, I'm just enjoying each phase of the kids. So just take a moment and just realize where you're at, and you know just cherish it, I guess.
That's good. Listen, you did, like I said, you've done way better than Will did the whole episode, which is phenomenal. It
Bro,
actually,
Will,
I had to
listen,
cut it
we,
off.
we love you, Will. Will, we love you. You
I watched
you
5 minutes
we'll
of it.
work on those communication skills later. But
I'll try my
Kyle
best.
guys, Kyle was scared to
I was
jump on the
quaking in
show,
my boots.
but he was asking all these questions. He did phenomenal. Kyle, we love you. We're super proud of you. Um, Coach Greggy, I will see you in the morning.
Dude,
Um, we
I'm not gonna be
appreciate your
there
time.
tomorrow.
Yo, what is up with the
I'm just kidding. I'll be there
Lubriderm?
tomorrow. I'm just kidding. I'm just
What are we doing with the Lubriderm right now? All right, I get it. It's mommy and daddy time now, guys. We appreciate you, Kyle. We love you very much. Thank you for your time. And Coach Greg just pooed himself. And on that, guys, another episode down. We'll see you next time.